So students, let's start the next topic, and that is the functions of the lipids. So what are the various functions of lipids? Just like any other biomolecule, lipids also play important role in the daily survival and the metabolic activities and all other physiological things human body or any other living body involves. Lipid plays an important role. So what are the functions of lipids? Let's quickly start. The first function to understand is the shock absorption. We all know that the fat deposition is important because it acts like a cushion around the vital organs of the human body, because we are learning human body, so I'll be taking every time human's name only. So we know there are organs in human body. For example, eyes are there, kidneys are there, even the testicles or the sexual primary organs, like in the case of male we have testes. So these structures are surrounded by a thick layer or a cushion of fat. Now what is the function? These are vital organs. They may undergo damage or they may break down completely if there is a physical shock or a push or a pressure applied, mechanical pressure applied. So the fat present around these eyes, kidneys and the sex organs, they absorb all that shock and protect them against the negative effect of the shock if there was any shock applied. The second function of the lipid is to maintain the body shape and volume. We all know that once human enter into puberty, you will find changes start coming in the human body. In 10th you have learned this topic. So one of the change you would notice that is male will start growing tall, but they will be lean, and girls will start becoming bulky, or you can say the fat deposition will start getting more in the case of the female. So bottom or the buttocks will become thicker. If you see the shoulders, they will be round. Even the wrist of the girls would be rounder. You will find the wrist of the male would be slightly flat. So what exactly is the reason behind this body shape and volume to be different is fat deposition. So there is subcutaneous means under the skin there is a layer of fat, and that fatty layer is going to be maintaining the shape or providing a particular shape and volume to both sexes, male as well as the female. That's why female body has a different type of shape and outline when compared with the shape and the outline of the male body, and this is called as body contour, contour, contour. Now the next function of the lipids is to cause insulation. Now we all know those who are living in the high altitude area, in the hilly areas like in Himalayas and all, Uttarakhand, Himachal and all, and if you talk about the polar regions also, Arctic or the Antarctic region, so in the cooler region you will find that the animal body size is big, because bigger the size of the animal, more volume of fat can be deposited inside, because fat acts like an insulator. So insulation against what? Against the extreme low temperature, because over in those areas summers are mild and winters are extremely cold. So in that environment, mammals, or you can say animals, are not able to survive unless their body volume is big. To have a big volume, they plus to survive against the harsh minus temperature, they need to have lots of fat deposited in their body. So the animals which are living in the polar region, like polar bear we have, whale we have, in these animals you will find the subcutaneous layer of fat would be thick enough. Why thick? Because it is going to provide them insulation as well as food reserve also. And another thing is that you would have learned that there is a blubber present. Blubber is like in the case of whale, blubber is quite thick. And what is the function of blubber? We have learned already that when you try to mix water and oil together, the moment you shake, it will be into small droplets, but slowly as the water stops moving, you will find the oil and water will separate from each other, and oil will form a layer above the layer of water. Reason: oil is lighter, or its specific gravity is 0.86. Now that's why the reason is buoyancy. Those animals which are living in these cooler region, their body carries good amount of fat inside, and fat provides them lightweight. So though if you compare animal with less fat and animal with the more fat, you will find more fat body animal would be lighter compared to non-fat type. Reason, the non-fat type would carry more proteins or muscles in the body. So the presence of more fat provides them buoyancy. That's why those heavyweight whale, seal, walrus and all, they are able to survive in that harsh environment there because it gives them insulation and even provide them buoyancy to be swimming in water. So they don't sink into water, they continuously swim into water. Now the next function of the lipids is to provide protection against UV radiation. Now we all know UV radiations are harmful for human skin. Tanning happens, wrinkles happen, aging effect and all those things. Now another thing is UV radiation even damages the DNA. Now we know that microspores are there. Microspores are present in the plants, or you can simply call them as pollen grains. So now the pollen grains are carrier of the male gametes, and male gametes carry the genetic information for the next generation. Now the male gamete has to fertilize the female gamete, and this happens in the case of flowering plants or angiosperms, or the non-flowering but seed-bearing plant, that means the gymnosperms. So it happens in the angiosperms and gymnosperms by the process of pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma. That's